Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Jason Cappuccino, Sashes&Scripts, where you get relevant news and updates as well as fearless views on issues related to pageantry. The issue that we will be talking about for today's video is the current complaint of pageant fans regarding how an ongoing national pageant is being run in its current setup. Compared to last year, this year, this pageant has created a tier in which 100 candidates, are being narrowed down into different groups from 100 to 75 to 50 and now to the official 30 candidates. And the problem with this cutoff is that there are a lot of virtual challenges that the organization is requiring of the candidates. And each virtual challenge is used as a setup to narrow down the candidates based on online votes as well as votes from the organization itself. And ang problema dito is that hindi tayo klaro kung gaano kalinaw yung criteria ng pagpili ng 100 to 75 to 50. Hindi natin nakikita kung ano yung percentage ng scores for the votes versus the votes of the organization. And we might need to dig around more on how this is being set up because isa ito sa nagiging issue ng mga pageant fans that is currently affecting the ongoing pageant. Now, personally, I have a problem with virtual pageants because it puts the burden on the candidate rather than on the organization. And what happens in a virtual setup is that ang candidate ang gumagasta without much investment from the organization. So kung masipag-sipag si candidate, then well and good. Pero it also kinds of breeds complacency and laziness on the part of the org dahil ipapasa lang nila sa mga kandidata yung mga requirements na kinakailangan nilang i-submit for these virtual challenges, and that is the part where I am not really invested on. That's the part that I find myself having issues on kasi ang nangyayari dito nagiging pabigat tuloy sa mga candidates yung mga virtual challenges because it also creates a additional disadvantage for those candidates who does not have the machinery or the fan base or a strong financial backing. So, bakit ito nagiging problema? Una sa lahat, it gives the impression na kung wala kang budget para mag-hire ng glam team, ng bumili ng designer wardrobe, or mag-hire ng magaling na photographer o videographer para sa mga virtual challenges mo, parang lumalabas na may limitasyon ka kung saan ka aabot sa kompetisyon. And that is something that I think is unfair for most candidates, especially those who are coming from the provinces. So paano kung hindi ganun kalakasan ang signal ng internet sa kanila for their live virtual challenges? Or what if they don't have the equipments like a HD camera or a good camera recorder for their video challenges? So magiging hindrance yon instead of magiging equal footing ang mga candidates on that aspect. So if you are not well connected with designers, photographers, videographers, makeup artists, and the like, you might have issues on how far you go. Are you going to proceed in the pageant? In addition to that, a lot of these requirements, a lot of these challenges that is required of the candidates, kailangan ng additional na video, additional na photo from the candidates themselves. So for example, if they are challenged to do a 45-second video that is supposed to be a tourism video, they might need permits to get access to a location, especially during a lockdown situation in wherever the girl is from. Another thing is that may mga requirements na kinakailangan, 35-seconder, 45-seconder siya with a title shot, located at the upper left center, lower center part of the video with a 3-seconder text title and a lot of effects that is needed to be incorporated for that video to be considered good. And how about if required is a 1080 by, let's say, 960 pixel size for the video. So a lot of those things hindi mo siya makukuha kung low tech ang camera na gamit mo. And another thing is if you are going to do a tourism video, for example, kinakailangan maganda yung pagkakalapat ng transitions from one frame to another. And then if it's let's say, a runway challenge, you might need to book a location, you might need to book a hair and makeup artist, you might need to find appropriate clothes for the runway challenge, and lahat ito, it does not come cheap. So imagine if ang requirement sa'yo is, let's say, a fuchsia pink dress na mid-length lang ang dapat gamitin, and wala ka nun, then you might need to source for that. And kung wala kang mga kaibigan designer na pwedeng tumulong sa'yo, paano ka? So those are the things that makes the burden on the candidate a lot more heavier. And ito yung gusto ko sana na malaman kung where is the support that the organization provides to these candidates. Meron ba silang binibigay na tulong, and ano yung extent ng tulong na ibinibigay nila sa mga kandidata? Because as far as we know, lahat ng mga gastos so far ng mga candidates ay maaaring galing sa kanilang mga sari-sariling bulsa. And if they don't have a financial backer, or the government of the provincial government of from where they're from backing them up, then they might not have all equal access to technology for their respective pageant campaigns. And I think that is one of the things that makes the virtual challenge somewhat of a disadvantage for those without enough financial backing, or for those without enough fan base. And nagiging disadvantage din ito doon sa mga kandidata na wala pang fan base, na hindi popular, na hindi sikat. Because imagine this, if you are part of 100 candidates or 100 hopefuls na kalahati ng score mo, or 40% ng score mo, or even maybe 60% of your score is based from votes, paano ka lalaban dun sa mga sikat na established ng mga personalidad sa kompetisyon? So, hindi rin din siya advantage sa'yo na bagitong candidate. So, you really need to make sure na on equal footing ang mga candidates when you establish these kinds of challenges for them. Now, one of the things that I wanted to touch on is the recent announcement of the organization regarding the paid voting, where the top three candidates who earns the most number of paid votes will automatically qualify as one of the three of the 30 official candidates in the competition. And what I dislike about the paid voting system is that it further deepens the impression that the pageant is merely a money-making scheme for the org. And it puts less focus on performance and merit, and rather spotlights, a candidate's ability to bring money to the organization. And when merit becomes secondary to commercial viability, nagkakaroon tayo ng konting issue dyan, dahil nakasanayan na ng mga Filipino pageant fans na performance and merit muna ang nauuna before anything else. And ito ngayon yung isa sa mga issue na nakikita ko sa organization where fans are complaining mostly about. And ang nangyayari din kasi dito is pinagkakaperahan din ang mga candidates ng organization by simply, the paid votes. Kumbaga parang it creates like an easy way for other girls na may pera to make it farther in the competition. So imagine that scenario na you have two tracks. One is an easier track where gagasto ka lang, pasok ka na sa 30 official candidates. And that doesn't create a good atmosphere for the fans, because what fans want to see is competitiveness on the candidates themselves. Now, the mere fact na parang pinagkakaperahan ng org ang mga candidates is already a red flag. Add to that na bukod sa paid voting system, meron pa yung possible YouTube monetization ng mga online videos ng mga candidates na ito that is directly tied to the app. So imagine yung scenario na yon na hindi ka na nga umabot sa top 50 or sa top 30 ng competition, pinagkakaperahan yung content where you create on your own without much help or financial help from the organization. So medyo parang foul din naman yun tingnan. And the thing kasi dito sa mga video challenges na pinapaskill ng organization sa kanilang YouTube and social media is that we are not clear on how the candidates' burdens are eased financially by the organization. And that is a sour point na nababanggit madalas ng mga pageant fans sa amin in our social media. Now, there is also this sort of comparison of the paid voting system with the barangay contests, where money envelopes are handed out, to the people of the barangay to vote or rather to support through financial means yung mga candidates na napupusuan nila. But the difference here is that we are not sure where the money goes and where it is used for. Unlike the barangay pageants na sinasabi nila upfront na ang perang malilikom nila, ibibigay nila para sa pagpapatayo ng basketball court or ng sports center or ng reading center for the barangay or pagpapaayos ng mga dilapidated parts ng eskwela sa kanilang lokal, or perhaps even fixing mga potholes sa kanilang mga streets. And it can be that simple kung saan nila ilalagay yung pera na nalikom nila. And dito sa organization na ito, dito sa ating national organization, we're not sure what the money is used for. And pwede lang din kasi nilang sabihin na gagamitin namin yan later on for paying for the franchise or for outreach programs and whatnot. But the thing is, nauuna yung panglilikom ng pera bago nila sasabihin sa iyo kung saan nila gagamitin, instead of dapat nauuna nilang sabihin sa inyo or sa atin na mga fans kung saan nila ilalaan yung mga pondo na nalilikom nila for the pageant. And that is, I think, one of the things na sour point, na medyo red flag on the organization's part, na hindi sila upfront on that aspect. And with all of these, paid voting and all, it brings about questions of where are the sponsors? Anong nangyari sa mga sponsors? Nag-renew ba sila ng contract? Kung hindi sila nag-renew, bakit? May mga deliverables ba ang organization na ipinangako sa mga sponsors na ito na hindi nila na-i-deliver on time or hindi nila i-deliver in full? Those are the things that we need to ask from the org, dahil ang nangyayari nito ngayon is parang nagiging the impression actually is that the org is in dire financial troubles because they are now squeezing money from their fan base. And instead of seeing that there is sponsors for the pageant, there are corporate sponsors for the pageant, lumalabas tuloy na ang main source of income ng organization is ang mga pageant fans and ang mga candidates, which traditionally is not in previous other national pageants, corporate sponsors usually yung may pinakamalaking bulto ng budget kung saan nanggagaling ang pera ng organization. And it is with tie-ups with these corporate sponsors, with their winners, whether through commercials and endorsements, kung saan kumikita ang pageant org. Now, of course, maiintindihan natin kung bakit fans are pulling back, because ang nafe-feel natin ngayon is that we are being used without getting value in return from the organization. And asking money from any entity, without building first a relationship with those entity, always end up badly. Kasi parang lumalabas that the org is behaving like they have already invested in the relationship with pageant fans, na willing ang mga fans na mag-part ways with their hard-earned money. Some will be okay with it, others not so much. And there will be opposing sides in terms of this issue. The sad part here is that this is not how you build long-term fan base. This is not how you build a strong foundation for your pageant. And tulad nga ng sinasabi nila, you cannot expect a return on investment without putting the capital first. And ang nangyayari kasi is parang hindi pa nag-i-invest sa atin ang organization, pero humihingi na sila ng kapalit. So sa ngayon, nakikita natin that the new organization is being compared with the older, more established na organization. And hindi natin may aalis yon from the fans, because the old organization has established a relationship with the fan base before anything else. And unfortunately, the branding of the local organization doesn't have yet the strong brand equity that is needed to foster, a good relationship with your fan base. And I think, and I suggest that they need to establish that first before anything else, because once you establish, a relationship with your pageant fans, and that you have provided for them a great user experience when it comes to your pageant, when it comes to your brand, that is where they become receptive to you. And I think, that basically sums everything that the org needs to do, so that these issues are dealt with properly and are resolved for the next pageant next year. That's it. That's all I have to say on the topic, and I hope to see you again soon in the next video. Thank you and take care, everyone. Bye-bye.